Matt Lenihan for Boxing Social in association with Forged Irish Stout, Empire Fight Store, freebets.com. It is 2:15 a.m. and we've got Mr. Andy Lee in what looks like a playful mood, gearing up, one last ride.
Yeah, anybody who wants can get it tonight.
Still got it a little bit.
Yeah, I did 6 rounds of pads this morning, so
yeah,
getting back in shape.
You ever get that itch where you think, I'd love an exhibition just to let it out a bit?
Nah. It's over. But I'm living vicariously for the fighters now, so it's good. Better.
Absolutely. Well, let's come on to it. We're here again. Joe Parker, the unequivocal yes man of the heavyweight scene, a typical throwback fighter. Line him up. Yep, let's go. Wilder, let's go. Beat him. Zhang, let's go. Excited for this week? Another big fight.
Big fight, and the type of challenge we need, I think, to bring the best out in Joe. The Wilder fight was huge, and we're just building on that. This fight is more difficult, I think. But Joe's ready for it. He's improved even since the Wilder fight, improved in his training, and we're well up for it.
How key has it been the fact that, Joe's sort of gone back to back and he's had that consistency, he's not had them long layoffs out the gym, and you can tell sometimes when a fighter's had 9-12 months out, a little bit of rust to sometimes shake off, but he's in a position now where he's bang on form, seemingly, seems to be hitting some form of peak. You must be over the moon with how he's performing at the minute.
Yeah. It's the momentum, the activity, they're just staying busy. And, we struggled for fights after the Joyce fight, but we managed to get the Massey fight, and after that we were struggling again. And even though the fights he took weren't big money, I just said, get active, Joe. Just stay busy, forget about the money. Just get yourself winning, get in the training camps, and there's so much more benefits. No matter what money you're making, it's better than not making money, and you're getting the benefit of training and fighting. And that's what we did. So he fought Massey, he fought Faiga in Australia, then we got the Keane fight, and then we wound up getting Wilder. Now he's straight back in with Zhang.
Big bang, coming off a couple of destructive performances against Big Joe Joyce, a former opponent of Joseph Parker. I know Joe's always said, look, I weren't where I wanted to be that night in terms of performance and how I felt going into it. What does Big Bang Zhang offer? Another dangerous opponent.
He offers a lot. He's a very well-schooled, well-educated southpaw who can punch. Big man too. He told us tonight he was 290 pounds. So
he looks every bit of it as well.
Yeah, so big fella, and he's a very, very difficult fight. Look, he's lost the fight to Herkovich, which was questionable. Now I've watched the fight, so obviously watched it a lot because of this fight happening, but I thought Herkovich won it, but it was still close. And listen, he's coming off 2 great wins against Joyce, and people might think, well, how can Joseph Parker beat him when he's beaten the man who's beaten Joseph in Joyce? But it's just the way Joe's going to approach the fight. And Joe, as you said, is a completely different fighter to what he was when he fought Joyce. And sick going into the fight. I don't care now anymore. It's not an excuse. He was sick going into the fight. Yeah, he fought. And it is what it is. It is when nobody wants to hear after the fight when it's happened. So he didn't say a word about it. But we're 2 years on. But I hope Zhang and his team are watching the Joyce fight and think they can do the same thing, because they'll be surprised. I think that's their plan. Like from watching the public workout, they're going to try and pressure and walk Joe down. Yeah. But that's good for Joe.
I was going to say as well, and since Joe's had that fight, he's proven and he has kicked on. I mean, going to a fight with a guy like Wilder, who one punch. It's very, regardless of what some people say about his boxing ability, natural ability, that is literally one punch and this whole game's over. One punch in 12 rounds. So he managed to do that. Do you think a win of a Zhilei Zhang will be? Do you think it'll be a better win? As in, do you think it'll be a better win than the Wilder one?
Because Wilder so unorthodox, and people, it's easy to. I think it was easier for people to write him off. But they'll probably say, "Oh, Zhang was 40 years old. You know, Zhang's an old man." That's what they'll probably say when Joseph beats him.
Isn't that the same? Every fighter we have, you beat someone, they're old, they're finished, they're washed. You lose to someone, you're the one who's lost. Is it just like the double-edged sword that we seemingly somehow live by in this mad sport?
It's just the way the game's gone. Listen, it's not. I don't think it's actually genuine boxing people who ever really think that or consider that.
No.
It's just people who don't have a clue about boxing or have, whatever. I don't know. Whatever. It's just symptomatic of the sport now. Yeah.
I want to talk to you about how sort of satisfying it was, because we mentioned that he was written off going into the last one. I saw Joe from the start of that week, and there was just something about him. I was saying it to Andy McCart. I said, I've just got a feeling he looks bang up for this in a great place mentally. Obviously, you deal with him day to day, and people can put on the front, but he seemed all there. How satisfying was it when everybody's looking at what's next? Everyone's signing contracts saying, oh, well, once this fight's done, and you guys are going quietly about your business going, it's all right, you make whatever fight you want. How satisfying was it when Joe's hand did eventually get raised?
Yeah, it was very sad. It was very satisfying. But it only lasted a day or so, I'd say. I don't know. Because when you're building up to these massive fights, you think, like anything, like not just fights, but whatever, you think reaching a certain goal is gonna be, when I get there, I'm gonna be happy. Everything's gonna be good. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get that. Do you think the validation is gonna be the cure? But it's not. You're always, as soon as that was over, I got home, and then I was thinking about the next fight again, thinking about how we can improve. And by rights, had Joe really settled himself, he should have stopped Wilder in round 8.
Yeah. Have you watched that back and gone, we could have had him there?
Yeah, he agrees himself. He should have got him out of there. But he should have been a bit more composed, a bit more, just present. What we work on, present and placing your shots and not being as wild or as desperate with it. But so there's already something we can improve on.
I was going to come on to, in terms of, you've obviously had a distinguished career in professional boxing. You're now on the training side of it. I know we had a bit of fun when you said, one more, and you put in the headgear on, but how does the feeling compare? I don't mean to winning a world title, but winning a fight, to being a trainer, bringing a guy who you've spent all that time with in camp, preparing, checking in on people with his diet and having that big camaraderie, because you two do have a special bond. No matter what anyone says, this isn't just like worker and colleague, this is like two brothers going into battle. What's the feeling? How does that feeling compare when you either win a fight as a professional, but then you see someone like Joe, you care for doing it? How does it compare?
It's right. It's up there. And if anything, to be honest with you, it might suit me better being a coach, because I would win fights, and I would always I'd be apologising to people who would say, "Well done, you won the fight." I'd be like, "Oh yeah, it was a good win. I did okay. I was happy to win," and blah blah blah. Whereas Joe wins, I can praise him through the roof. You know what I mean? It's not like, I'm just, it's good. It's great. But like you said, me and Joe, I've been spoiled. Like, Joe's been my first real big fighter, and I'm not sure if I'll ever have a relationship with another fighter like it. Now, me and Paddy are very close, Paddy Donovan, but it's more of a mentor-student relationship, where me and Joe are more like this on a level playing field. So, so it's been good. Not only spoiled with the relationship, but also the business class flights, first class flights, everything's laid on free. Brand new gloves being sent left, right, and centre.
Magic.
Yeah.
Well, look, Joe Parker obviously has aspirations of one day being a world champion again. Done it once before. I suppose as much as you want to earn the big money, that comes in the biggest fights, and that is world titles. I think I heard him saying there that he does have a rematch clause. So if he beats Zhang, he has to do this all over again, providing Zhang obviously goes, yeah, let's do it. But is that the ultimate goal? And I don't mean this in a case of looking past him, but you want to get Joe to a world title again. Yeah,
that's what we're... Listen, the goal is to win a world title and make as much money as he can. But if those things should coincide and come together naturally. So as long as he keeps winning, and yeah, we got to get over this one. I'm not looking past Zhang or the rematch, and I'm not even thinking about that. I just want to get this one done. And it's a massive task. It is a massive task.
Yeah.
I think it's, I think we're slight underdogs even. Going on.
Do you prefer that? Do you not care?
I don't really care. Zhang is just so he's formidable. He's very economical with his shots. He doesn't waste a lot. He's southpaw. He tucks up and waits for you to punch and punches with you, which is very dangerous. The best time to hit somebody is when they're punching. So Joe's got to fight a perfect fight.
Right. Got to come on to the other main event. Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. I think we touched on this a little bit in Belfast, so I'll go night and day on it. I've recently seen comments from other people. I'm asking you to clap back at them, just your opinion. Carl Froch said that he thinks Anthony Joshua has got that mental sort of fragility, and if he loses to Francis Ngannou, it's over for him. Would you say a loss to Francis Ngannou would be it for Anthony Joshua?
I think, I don't know. Listen, I don't really like to speculate on what people would do. I think Joshua is an outstanding fighter and a role model for young fighters to look up to. A world champion twice, unified champion, Olympic gold medalist, world amateur silver medalist. So a fantastic fighter, you know what I mean, and a great ambassador for the sport. Speaks well, looks well, and I think he's a fantastic fighter. So I give him all the respect and credit in the world. But I do think he's in it. I think it's a tough fight for him to fight in Ghana. I think it's a tough fight for anybody to fight in Ghana just because of the sheer size of the man. And he, like Joe was been training in Vegas. Joe was in Vegas all his early career. And in 2018, Ngannou was in the gym training before boxing. So it's not like a guy who's just put on a pair of gloves yesterday. This guy knows what he's doing in the boxing ring. He's very patient, and he's just so formidable and tough, because MMA guys are tough.
Taking licks, can't they?
Yeah. Look, he's been hit with kicks and elbows and everything else, and hasn't shaken once. So, I think if AJ boxes a smart fight, he'll outbox him easy. He should outbox him easy, but it's still dangerous in Ghana.
Considering obviously what the plan was for after Wilder Parker and Joshua Walling, was there ever that conversation of maybe Joe fighting Joshua? Because I'm sure, he said it before, look, I want to avenge these losses on my record, and considering how he's fighting now, and the improvements he seemingly has made, was that conversation about an Anthony Joshua fight on the table at some point? We
never got offered anybody else but Zhang. So
you think that's a bit mad, that, isn't it? Considering what was supposed to happen, and he sort of flipped the script on the whole event. That should have been maybe the natural order.
Naturally, you think, well, now Joe gets the fight, but it was never offered to us for whatever reason. And no, we're not ungrateful. We're not ungrateful because the decision was to take the fight with Zhang, or we can give it to somebody else with Zhang, and you can wait. There's no harm. You won't lose your spot. You won't lose you'll come back in October and fight somebody then. Yeah. But we could sit out and wait till October, sit in our position, but we'd probably only be offered Zhang again in October. Yeah. You know what I mean? So why not just take him now when Joe's in the form of his life, activity, and that was our reason. And I believe Joe can win the fight. That's why we took the fight.
Coming out of Tyson, that fight's going to come and creep up quickly. Obviously, there's been that delay with the cut. Excited to see Tyson back in the ring, looking lean, looking in great shape. Obviously, we know that there's a delay now, but you must be excited. Obviously, been part of his camps before, been close with him, to finally see that fight with Usyk.
Yeah, and I think whatever about the cut, it's a disappointment, but it's built the fight even more. And that didn't need building anymore, but it has. And it's another layer and another story to it all.
You say another layer and another story, and I've got to ask you this because I'm not here to give opinion and insides and outs of boxing. We're here to have a certain general sort of knowledge of it. But the amount of things that came out after that cut, when you can see the cut and you hear the conspiracies, you hear people say, possibility and this and the other. And I look around and think, this man must be coming into some form of peak. When you see the shape of him, what benefits that kind of thing? So, what did you make of sort of, I won't say an outcry because that's too strong a word, but the odd thing that came out about potentially intentionally cutting. Like, what do you make of that?
Well, the video was there for everyone to see. It happened. You know what I mean? And you can hear this. You can hear it. Well, what more authentic about it than what really authenticated it for me was when you heard. Not that I had a doubt. You heard his brother Shane shouting outside the ring.
Yeah.
And Tyson said, "I'm cut." He said, "Who's cut? Who's cut?" And Tyson me, he said, "Fuck," whatever he said. And listen. I know. I've had cuts in training camps. I put my headgear back on. I've had a headgear on like this. I've been cut under the headgear.
Yeah.
Happens all the time. And you saw that there's not been no real boxing people who've had the conspiracy theories. It's only Tyson haters, and there's plenty of them out there. So I met Tyson earlier. He's in great form. He's still in great shape.
Yeah.
18 stone 2. Looks fantastic. I saw the cut. It's healing well. Yeah, and he's raring to go. He's raring to go. He reckons he won't go 7 rounds.
Yeah, I saw him come out. I think he said it in an interview with Charlie Parsons. He says it's not going 7. You fully confident Tyson Fury at his best? I don't mean the performance against Ngannou. And look, Ngannou came into that not knowing what was going to come from Ngannou. Always makes it a bit trickier. But are you expecting him to get him out of there, basically?
I don't, like, as I said to you before, I don't want to say that about Usyk because he's a great champion. I don't think he'll get him out of there, but I think it's a great fight between the two of them. And yeah, as I said, I can see more ways Tyson can, but Usyk can win the fight too. If Tyson has a bad day, to believe me, a great champion like Usyk will beat you. But Tyson on form is unstoppable. I don't think there's anybody in the world today who can beat Tyson Fury if he's on form.
No possibility of Joe and Tyson down the line?
No, and I was asked this before, and I'll say it again. It's a fight I'd never want to see because they are great friends, and I'm great friends with Tyson, obviously. Who would I be in the corner with?
It puts you in a horrible position, doesn't it?
Yeah. But me and Joe would never have met if it wasn't for Tyson. We wouldn't have had these wonderful experiences together if it wasn't for Tyson. We've had the use of his gym, we've had the use of his house, we've had all these connections. He's just opened the door for me as a coach and for Joe as a fighter, and we're very grateful to everything he's done for us. Listen, we've made plenty of money, all because of Tyson Fury. Yeah.
Last one from me. I want to come on to another one of your fighters, Paddy Donovan. Let's talk. We were in Ulster Hall. Spoke to Paddy after the fight. Weren't best pleased with himself. He says, I'm better than that. But look, I got through it. I did the business. A lot of talk about a Lewis Crocker fight. I know Paddy said on occasions, yeah, it seems like the right fight to make kind of thing. What's next for Paddy? What do you expect?
Paddy will fight again if and when there's another matchroom show in Dublin. Now there's some rumours about a fight in May, and I would like him to be on the show. Listen, Paddy will be and is a top prospect in boxing, and he'll be ready for a big fight.
Crocker fight in particular, would you be willing to have that fight now, or is that a fight that needs building? I know people say, just do it now, but I know boxing's sort of a bit of give and take and timing and stuff, but what do you make of that? Both Irish, be a good fight?
It would be a great fight. It is a great fight, and it's one that's being proposed to us, and it is a risky fight for both of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a risk in it for both of them. I obviously believe Paddy will win the fight and will beat Crocker, but Crocker's very strong, has a great style and a great fighter. So it would be a great fight. Listen, it's a decision we make if they offer us enough money. Yeah. It's early in their careers. They could any one of them can bounce back, but if there's enough money on the line, then they can make the fight.
How good is Irish boxing at the minute with all the talent that's coming out of it? I know, obviously, the likes of Jamie Conlan, Mick Conlan Boxing are sort of pushing and signing fighters, but there seems to be a real sort of talent pool now. I know when I was speaking to you when I first started this job, when Paddy came on the scene, you're looking at the likes of him, the Pierce O'Leary's, and all these sort of.
That's the only two I can name, really. Who's the other ones?
I think obviously Lewis Crocker coming through. And
yeah. Well, go on. Who? You going to name me some more? I'm not. Come on, name some more.
Do you not feel? Do you not feel?
I think it's gone down a bit. I think we've lost. Yeah. We've lost Tyrone McKenna. We've lost Tommy McCarthy.
Gary Cully obviously come back with a win.
Cully's come back with a win. Yeah, Cully will be good. he'll get it together. There are good fighters in Ireland. Listen, there's Thomas Carty. There's a few young lads, but some of the older guys have gone now. There's probably a new generation coming through. Paddy and Pierce, Gary, Thomas. And I'm probably missing out somebody who's really good, but like.
Yeah,
to me, listen, and I'm biased obviously, but Paddy is the leading star. When he fought on the Katie Taylor show, he stole the show. Lewis Crocker is a headline fighter. He's probably more developed than Paddy a little further on in his career. But those two are the best. Pierce is not far behind. Pierce is a really good fighter. Obviously, there's Katie Taylor is all-time great, so she's always going to be there. But the ones coming up, it's time for them to step up now and prove themselves.
I'm going to say, I'm saying coming up, but I suppose they're pretty established now, the ones I mentioned, aren't they?
Yeah. So, listen, I want to see Irish fighters do well, and I want to see them winning. I'm sick of seeing Irish fighters getting beat all the time, being brought in as opponents. Like Katie's doing well, and even when Katie lost in Chantel, it was a bit of a down, with Michael Conlon getting beat, and you know what I mean. It was just like I'm sick of seeing the green, white, and gold on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, but Paddy is winning. Paddy's winning, and he's winning sensational as well. He's stopping them and getting knockouts. But I want to see Irish fighters. I don't want to see Irish fighters being used as an opponent. I want to see them being the A side.
Well, look, let's hope that happens, and we wish you all the best for this Friday. Another terrific fight. Says a lot about, say, Joe takes another big fight, and yourself, and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.